All right. Shalom, shalom, family. So good to see you here. Wow, bright and early. Family. So good to see you here. Wow, bright and early. Okay, shalom, family, to the queen. So good to see you here. All right, I know I had a second session open, y'all, but shalom to the queen, the true royal family. Blessed one for real. Lisa Green, shalom, New Nubian, Sunny, hi him, Water Sniper, Jerry S, Vanguard, Vera Veritas. Oh, and Loretta wants to say good morning too. Woo, Loretta, you coming to say hi? Okay, she just walked in. All right, let me get back to my list. Sianlo, Logan, and oh, I love Mugabe. Love some Mugabe. I've missed Mugabe. I tell you what, Zimbabwe has not been the same without him. It's going in the toilet for real. Coca Chick, Jamal Bay, King Hebrew, Shalom, Shelly W, My Greatness Inside of Me, 198433, Shalom, Dolly, Shalom, Soup Bone, Maestro K, Annie K, Antoine, Dewan, Taria, Shalom, Lisa Green, I believe I said you, M. Cook, Michelle, Stephanie, Sheila Moore, People Hernandez, McShanna, Christopher, Larry, Sloan Easy One, Jada T, Shalom family. Shalom. Hi. Loretta wants to say hi too. I tell you what, I don't know why she came at this moment, but she did. Okay. All right, let's turn on some music. Let's kick it off right. Let's see. Sounds of Sinai, y'all. I'm going to post the name of this in the chat, just so if some of you are interested in listening to Hebrew music, this is the song I'm about to play. All right. Sounds of Sinai. This is the group of Black Hebrews that are over in Israel.
Worship you, all my being Lord. Take joy, my Father, is what you hear. Let me sweet, sweet sound in your ear. I love you, and I lift my voice to worship you, all my being Lord. Take joy, my Father, is what you hear. Let me sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Hallelujah. Who is mighty like you? There is no one. There is no other. You're the only end. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Who is mighty like you? Let's jump on my feet. Oh, let it slip. I'll praise Him all day long. God is my strength and song. Oh, you said to make me wise. Enemies will use these words. Oh, you said I will do just as sharp. That I love you. I really love you. I really love you. I do. I really love you. I do. 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 I really love you. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. I really love you. I love you, yeah, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my being rejoice. Take joy, my Father, in what you hear. Let me speak, sweet sound in your ear. I love you, yeah, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my being rejoice. Take joy, my Father, in what you hear. Let me speak, sweet sound in your ear.
Yah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yah, our Elohim, for our good always, that He might preserve us alive, as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yah, our Elohim, as He has commanded us. Praise you, Father Yah.
I will not have any other Elohim before you. Nor bow down to any graven images too. I won't take the name of Yah, my Elohim, in vain. I'll do. Remember the Sabbath day, sanctify it, keep it holy. Honor your father and mother, because that's what God told me. That your days may be long and that it may go well with you. I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. I'll do. I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. I'll do. Yeah, I'll do. Don't murder, don't commit adultery, you shall not steal. Neither lie to your neighbor, for it's not God's will. Don't desire no
All right, y'all. That was The Sound of Sinai. And I posted the name of both songs. So if you're interested, their whole album is out here. It is a beautiful album. It's royalty free. So, you know, if you did videos and wanted to use some of their music in the background, you don't have to worry about any copyright claims or anything like that. In fact, most of the Hebrew music out here, unless it says so, is royalty free. So glad you are all here. I don't know what's going on, but when I woke up this morning, it was snowy. It was windy out here in New Jersey. And I had to go out briefly. And I mean, it was bone chilling. The snow is gone, but we still have the winds. But other than that, it's a beautiful thing to see you all this morning. We're just going to kick back, shoot the breeze. I don't celebrate the holiday because we are not to really acknowledge any Gentile holiday, but those of you that do acknowledge it, happy holidays to you. You know, it is, he gives us free will to what we want to do. All right. I choose not to get into what Gentiles celebrate. And that's how most Hebrews are. You have a frost in Philly? Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. It was almost very calm. And then all of a sudden, all this wind came in and it was crazy. I was like, what the heck is going on out there? Woo, y'all, this is crazy. All right, we're going to talk about some of the things that are going on and just kick back. And let me know if some of this stuff you haven't heard. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want you to see these stories. And this is probably stories I would have done in separate videos, but instead of doing it in separate videos, we'll just do it all in this Hangout. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, hopefully you can all see this. Can everybody see my screen? All right. This story just came out today, y'all, December 25th, 2017. Eric Garner's daughter suffered a heart attack and she's in a coma. Erica is only 27 years old. Can you imagine that? 27 years old and she had a heart attack. And here it is. Erica Garner, whose father, Eric Garner, became a symbol of police brutality when he died after being placed in a chokehold, was in a coma Sunday night after suffering a heart attack, family members said. So my sister had another heart attack. Wow. This was the second one she had at 27. Woo! And she's in critical condition. Erica's sister, Emerald Snipes, wrote Facebook, I just left the hospital and it's not looking good. I pray she makes it. She has 2 little ones to live for. Garner, 27, became an activist after her father's untimely death in 2014. The woman's Twitter account asked supporters to pray for her. That is unbelievable. This is a second heart attack for her at 27. Wow. That's all I have to say is wow, y'all. Wow. Woo. This is sad. This is really, really sad, y'all. So, I saw that. That was probably one of the first stories I saw this morning when I woke up. And it's sad to see something like that. I know a lot of people felt like she was getting on folks' nerves when she was speaking out about her father, but I don't believe she deserves this, y'all. I really don't. I hope she does recover, being that she has two small children. It's a shame, but that is pretty bad to have two heart attacks. That's not very common for somebody to have two heart attacks and they're only 27 years old. Not common. Okay. Now, I also have a video that I want y'all to see that Umar Johnson put out about 2 days ago about his situation. And we're going to talk about that also this morning. I'm going to go ahead and play his video. I'm going to let you all listen to the video and then we'll discuss this.
By lying and saying that I
let me
took
start it over. Start it over.
Brothers and sisters, I'm here tonight because many of you have seen, you have heard, you have read the information that has been shared across social network about the fact that the state of Pennsylvania has brought me up on charges by way of the State Board of Psychology. I have been ordered to stand trial in the state capital of Pennsylvania in Harrisburg on the first Monday of the new year, other than January 1st, and that is January the 8th. I am going. I want to apologize to my brothers and sisters in Tokyo. You had already arranged the events and the venues in Tokyo well ahead of time. You did your job. But because of white supremacy, that got cut short. It was interrupted because I now have to go and stand trial for bogus charges created because members of my own race sought to destroy me by constantly complaining about me to the white authorities. And so to my family in Tokyo, I'm asking that you make your way to Osaka, Japan, and to Nagoya, Japan. I am still coming. I just will not be coming on the day originally planned, but I still will be in Osaka and I still will be in Nagoya. And yes, I will still be in Shanghai, China. So again, my apologies, Tokyo, and I look to see you soon. Shout out to my entire Black Asia family that's been holding tight with me. For the brothers and sisters in Toronto, Canada, that event will still take place. It is scheduled. I am contracted, and to the best of my ability and to the best of my knowledge, that event will take place in Toronto, Canada in February. All of the events that I have agreed to on the college campuses, I will continue to uphold my agreements. I've already contracted with several HBCUs to do some speaking during Black History Month on those campuses, and I intend to keep that word. Brothers and sisters, I am disappointed. I am ashamed and to some extent humiliated by the fact that for the past 3 years, many of you have sought to destroy my credibility. Many of you have taken every opportunity presented to you to try to destroy the image and the work of Dr. Umar Johnson. Although I am the only, I repeat, I am the only, I will say again, I am the only personality in the Black consciousness circuit with my expertise in child mental health, special education, and school psychology. Despite that, I'm the only one who can give Black parents that type of expertise from within the conscious community. You didn't care enough about our children. You didn't care enough about our children to say, hands off of Dr. Umar, because he's doing the work that no other speaker in the conscious community can do. Let me say that again. He's doing the work that no other speaker in the conscious community can do. He's filling a void that no other speaker in the conscious community can fill. That doesn't make me more important, because those brothers and sisters also have expertises and interests and competencies that the community can benefit as well. I'm simply stating that when it comes to the school to prison pipeline, I am the foremost expert in that area, not just in Black consciousness, but within Black America. So it does hurt me. It does hurt me for someone who have worked as long as I have, and have given their life as fully and as in-depthly and as selflessly as I have, to be attacked by members of the very same community that I sought to help. Yes, the campaign began right here in my own city,
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a brother who I used to work with at a African-centered charter school. He was the first to write articles about me not having a doctorate. Obviously a lie. Okay. He was the first to write letters about me stating I was misusing the funds. Obviously a lie. And then another brother who's not from Philadelphia, but was living here at the time, joined in on the charade and joined in on the campaign. And then a sister from Texas joined in, and then other people joined in simply because they had nothing better to do and clearly could not have been working on behalf of African people, because there's no way you can have time to tear down the foremost scholar in this country if you genuinely have something of significance to do for Black people. As you all know, GoFundMe. I got a message from GoFundMe that they intend to take down or remove the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy campaign from their platform if I do not provide them with a statement of funds and with a contact number for the realtor of FDMG. To this second, I have not moved to provide them with the information that they have requested. And the reason I have not moved to provide them with the information that they have requested is because I have already previously provided them with the bank statement and the bank details and have given them full legal permission to contact the bank without my presence to find out whether or not a single penny of the funds donated to me in the cause of building America's first independent Black boy academy based strictly off the principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism and international economics. I gave them permission to contact the bank to find out if Dr. Umar misappropriated a single penny of any of the funds that you all have so graciously given me from your earnings over the past years. But rather than do that, they continue to harass me. Every time one of you, not white people, but Black people, every time one of you complains about me to GoFundMe, they contact me asking for information that they have already received. And given the fact that GoFundMe keeps so much of the money, of the funds that are donated, of that $402,000 that you see on the platform's website, we've only received about $250,000, maybe $275,000 of your donations. For the sake of convenience, GoFundMe has kept over $125,000 to $50,000 of that money, just for the sake of convenience, robbing us, and then have the audacity to ask for proof when you've taken already so much money from us, when you've already been provided with that proof. So as far as I'm concerned, they can pretty much suspend the campaign, which will in turn force all of you to send your donations in by check or by money order. Brothers and sisters, I'm not a crook. I am not a thief. My ambitions and my interests are a lot greater than money. What I want to do for our people and what I want to do for our young people goes beyond money. I know many of the hustlers in the conscious community, and I know that many of the hustlers in the Black community can't think beyond their next meal, can't think beyond their next shopping spree, can't think beyond their next rent or mortgage payment. But Dr. Umar Johnson is a visionary. I think in-depthly and I think very far into the future in terms of how I can best make a contribution to impact our people. But it bothers me that the same thing that was done to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, it bothers me that the same thing that was done to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, greatest Black leader and organizer of the 20th century, 100 years ago, 100 years ago, Black men and women went to the government of the United States and begged them to destroy Marcus Garvey, begged them to incarcerate Marcus Garvey, begged them to deport Marcus Garvey. And so here we are 100 years later. And as a race of people, we still have not learned. 100 years later, and the same thing that was done to the king of Pan-Africanism is now being done to the prince of Pan-Africanism. But I want all my supporters to know, and I want all my college student supporters to know, and I want all the elders and the teenagers and the little children who support me, the unnamed millions from Africa to Australia, to the United Kingdom, to the Caribbean, to Central and South America, to Canada, to the South Pacific, to China, to Japan, throughout the entire world. I want my supporters to know that I will not abandon my post. I will not abandon my mission. I will not abandon my agenda. Because as I have told so many of you for so long, I do the work that I do because I believe that I was born to do it. This isn't coming from a place of narcissism. This isn't coming from a place of arrogance. But I believe within my heart that it is no coincidence that I happen to be related to the greatest Black leader of the 19th century, and that I happen to be a disciple of the greatest Black leader of the 20th century. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe it was a coincidence that my mother brought me into this world on the same day that the Nat Turner War began, that she brought me into this world on the same day that the Haitian Revolution began, that she brought me into this world the same day that the George Jackson prison revolution began, that she brought me into this world on the same day that the Frederick Douglass Fugitive Slave Convention began. I don't believe in no coincidences. So I'm going to stand for it. They can take the bachelor's, they can take the second bachelor's, they can take the first master's, they can take the second master's, they can take the third master's, they can take the doctorate degree, they can take the principal's certificate, they can take the school psychology certificate, they can prevent me from getting my license as a psychologist, whatever it is they want to do, they can go ahead and do it. But I will continue to fight for the rights of our children, and I will continue to fight for the rights of our people. And I want to thank all you brothers and sisters who have stood by my side through thick and thin. You were there in 2015 when a certain female tried to destroy my credibility by lying and saying that I took school money and spent it inappropriately, that she saw me spend money from the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. If that's true, may I die right now. If she saw me spending money from your pocket that you gave me to build a school for our children, may I die right now. And what bothered me then was that so many brothers in the conscious community, some of whom I considered to be associates, some of whom I've helped get paid, they seized upon the opportunity that she presented to try to destroy Dr. Umar Johnson through their platform on their media outlets. Everywhere I turned, there was a conversation about me without me. Everywhere I turned, a conversation about me without me. Up until 2015, I didn't have these problems. But the minute I started raising money to give our children a school that they deserve, all of a sudden, my problems began. In that very same year, that coon from Philadelphia began writing articles about me, jealous because he wished he could have been me. He wanted to be where I am and where I was then. And because his career didn't take off the way that my career did, he resorted to character assassinate. He resorted to passing around lies that I didn't have a doctorate, which all of you have since learned to be true. He resorted to coming up with fanciful schemes and ideas about me stealing school money. He started the fire that so many other thirsty, self-hating Negroes would then join in upon. But it's not about him today. Even as I sit here talking to you right now, another brother in the conscious community, a brother who claims he wants to work with me, a brother who tells people every chance he gets an opportunity that he wants to bury the hatchet with Dr. Umar Johnson. Well, he just did an 1.5-hour video, taking every shot he possibly could, bringing up every misstep, every mishap, and every misattribution made about me over the past year or two. As thirsty as he could possibly be, he could not wait to do a video on me. Why in the hell does a Black man need to spend 90 minutes on film talking about another Black man? Reminds me of another buffoon up in New York who did a 90-minute movie back in 2015 when that situation happened. But brothers and sisters, it ain't about them. It's about us. It's about our future. Let's talk about the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. In Chicago, there's 3 schools. One of them I'm confirmed to visit on Monday. Yes, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I respect all of you who do. And I pray to Almighty God, Olodumare, that you are not worshiping a white Jesus on Christmas Day, but that you are worshiping the Black revolutionary Messiah born in the caves of Ethiopia. That is my prayer for you all. But I have no problem with your Christianity. Whether Jesus existed or not is irrelevant. The story of Jesus, the example of Jesus, an unapologetically African Black man who spoke truth to power, I don't have a problem with that. I simply ask that the Jesus you serve looks like you and not like your oppressor. But on Christmas Day, while you're spending time with your family, as you should, I'll be visiting schools in Chicago. The realtor was gracious enough to let me into this one school that we can afford. And although I'm looking at Detroit and Atlanta very strongly, if things don't check out there, There's a school in Chicago that I can afford right now, but I have to make sure everything else checks out in that school before we grab it. In Detroit, there is a school that we just found out about, It's in pretty good condition. They want a couple $100,000. We have that. I'm waiting for the realtor to get access to the keys so we can get inside and take a look at it. I've begged the realtor, get those keys, brother. I get to Detroit on December 31st, get those keys so we can get inside that building on December 31st and do the walkthrough. Just like I'm going to get inside that building in Chicago, Christmas Day, and do that walkthrough. Atlanta, Georgia, we have one school identified, but it's going to take a little work to get it up. But I've since found 2 other schools in Atlanta that we can afford as well. So we working. Detroit, we working. Chicago, we working. Atlanta, we working. And if the school does not happen to be in your particular city where you are, just know that a school is coming soon. I am not interested in building one. I will go to Detroit and build one next year. Chicago, build one next year. Back home in Philly, maybe down to Phoenix, maybe over to Oakland, maybe in Little Rock, maybe in Raleigh, maybe in Baltimore, maybe in DC, maybe in Milwaukee, wherever it's necessary. But we must do the work, brothers and sisters. Now, because of this attempt to destroy me, to have the state of Pennsylvania Board of Psychology strip me of my credentials, many of you have asked me, Dr. Umar Johnson, what can we do? Do you want us to show up? Do you want us to write letters, brothers and sisters? I'm not giving you no directions. Do what your heart moves you to do. If your heart moves you to show up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Monday, January the 8th, then you show up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Monday, January the 8th. If your heart moves you to write a letter to the chair of the State Board of Psychology, write it. If your heart moves you to write a letter to the hearing officer who will be overseeing my case at 9 o'clock on January the 8th, then you write that letter. Whatever your heart moves you to do on behalf of Dr. Umar Johnson, then you do it. But I will not give no orders because this is a time I need you. I've always been there when y'all called on me. I've always been there at great cost to myself and my family. I've always been there for you guys. Okay, so you do what it is you need to do. If Dr. King is in jail, and I'm nowhere near Dr. King, and please don't mistake my words for even suggesting that I can compare to the king. The prince cannot compare to the king. But if Dr. King is in jail, he shouldn't have to tell you to get him out. If Malcolm X is in trouble, he should not have to make a phone call and ask you to help him. If Marcus Garvey is being marked for deportation back to Jamaica, he should not have to call on his people to save him. His people should love him enough to save him on their own. So do whatever it is in your heart to do. I've been saving Black children for 20 years. I've saved thousands, probably tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands. Psychoacademic Holocaust book has saved lives. I have saved lives. My lecture has saved lives. I would stop doing this work the minute I felt I can no longer save a life, Black man and Black woman. So do whatever it is on your heart to do, brothers and sisters. But I want you to know right now, as I've called on my ancestors, I have renewed my faith. I have renewed my confidence in myself. I'm going forward. I can't stop. I'm too close. So many of you have told me. So many of my, elders, members of my spiritual team have told me that the closer you get to the goal, the more hate you're going to get. The closer you get to the goal, the more they're going to try to shut you down. The closer you get to the goal, the more traps that will be laid out before you. It's a shame that my own people did this to me. There's one sister on YouTube. I'm not going to call her name because I know she's thirsty for attention. She has a whole YouTube page dedicated to teaching people how to destroy Dr. Umar Johnson. And the irony of all these people who claim that they need to hold me accountable, they haven't held the killer of Michael Brown accountable. They haven't held the killer of Trayvon Martin accountable. They haven't held the killers of Tamir Rice or Sandra Bland accountable. They haven't held the killers of Philando Castile or Alton Sterling accountable. They haven't held any of them accountable. You haven't held the Ku Klux Klan accountable for all the Black people they've murdered. You haven't held the Black churches accountable for all the money they stole. You haven't held national Black leaders accountable for all the money they've collected and never accounted for. You never held the Urban League or the NAACP, and I'm not knocking any of them. But how is it you can skate around everybody else? And the only person you can hold accountable for in the Black community is Dr. Umar Johnson. That's hypocrisy. That is absolute hypocrisy. To spend time trying to destroy a man instead of doing work on your own. How do you try to destroy a man who's trying to build a school? If you don't like him, keep it moving. But every day I got to deal with homosexuals trolling my page. Every day I got to deal with lesbians and transvestites trolling my page. I got to deal with black men who love white women more than black women trolling my page. I got to deal with coons and crackers and all types of other types of reactionary individuals trolling my page. Do I troll your page? I don't post comments. I've never posted a Facebook comment, hardly ever, unless it's happy birthday. I don't post comments. I don't make videos about me, about other people. I may have made 2-3 videos, and that's only because I was attacked by those persons. I mind my business. I have too much work to do to be worrying about what other people do. Brothers and sisters, you all know I started the organization Team Pan-African, the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. Well, I want you to know that in the new year, we will be coming back strong. In the new year, I will be bringing about a rebirth of Team Pan-African, and all of you who are serious about the work, all of you who are serious about the work, true Pan-Africanists, true Garveyites, you will have an opportunity to help Dr. Umar Johnson organize our people internationally. I promised my brothers and sisters in Africa that I would do an international Pan-African youth conference there. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Whether it's Ghana, whether it's Namibia, whether it's Senegal, whether it's Kenya, whether it's the Republic of South Africa, Zimbabwe, where I was just invited to speak the other day. It will happen. And I'm asking brothers and sisters from America who want to help me make this happen. My brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom. I have a lot of supporters up in the UK. I have not forgotten you. Although I'm going to take a break from speaking in the new year, for my brothers and sisters in the United Kingdom, I owe you a visit. You haven't seen me in 4 years. My London family, you haven't seen me in 4 years. You will see me. I owe London that, because London and the entire UK, Wolverhampton, Bristol, all of those places have been very big, staunch Dr. Umar supporters. You will see me in the new year.
All right, y'all. You know, this is really, really painful. I think there is nothing that hurts more than when our Black family turns on each other, y'all. It's a hurtful thing. You know, and I agreed with a lot of things that he say. There are far more horrific things that have happened in our community where we should be uplifting each other and stop attacking those that are trying to help us. Is Dr. Umar Johnson perfect? No. And I remember, you know, I saw some of y'all posted about the stripper incident. I didn't make a big deal out of that. Number one, Dr. Umar Johnson is single. Okay, it's not like he was with a stripper and cheating on his wife. He's a single man. So if he wants to be with a stripper, you know, I don't think that's a great choice for him, but it's his business. I think that was more of a personal issue and not something everybody should have been involved in. So me, I didn't make a big deal out of that. Number two, we have seen sellouts from Nat Turner to Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. All throughout our history, we have seen the sellouts among us. You know, Dr. King, Marcus Garvey. It's just been too many within our group. And it has to stop. It seriously has to stop. You know, the fact that we fight for our own people, we're always going to be at a disadvantage. No one wants, unfortunately, and this is really sad, no one wants anyone to fight for the Black community. You got Black people that don't want other Black people fighting for the Black community. And we all know white people don't want Black people fighting for the Black community. It's a sad reality, but this is where we are. you know, and it's a shame, but it's the truth, you know. And as far as Roland Martin, I will never forgive him for putting a panel of Black people to go against him like that on TV1. That is one thing I will never forgive Roland Martin for. You know, even if you had an opposing view from Umar Johnson, even if you didn't agree with him, you didn't have to have a whole panel of Black people gang up on him like that on TV. You know, family, we have a lot of jacked up people among us. But if we are going to fight because we don't agree with each other, let's keep our fighting in-house. Don't invite the entire general public that don't think like us and look like us into our fights. You know, and personally, when white people come and bring up Black on Black crime, the only thing we need to say back to them is that is a problem that we need to resolve within our group. It has nothing to do with you. And leave it at that. And if they want to keep pushing it, don't respond back to them. We don't jump in their white on white issues, and they have no business jumping in our Black on Black issues. Plain and simple. So the only thing you need to say to white people that bring that up is to stay out of it. This is a family fight, and we will resolve it ourselves. We don't discuss nothing that has something to do with our community with outsiders. If they're not coming to help or finance or make a difference, then they have no business being in the middle of our fights. Plain and simple. No, you're right, Nubian. They don't care about us. They use Black on Black crime as a means of trying to shame the Black community. And they have no right to do that to us, period, especially when you look at crime in the white community. They have no right coming to talk about anybody else's crime, period. But the only thing you need to do is shut their ass down. We ain't discussing nothing with outsiders that don't look like us, period. And that's the end of the discussion. Yeah, it's a shame. I hate seeing this. You know, no matter how you feel about Umar Johnson, one thing that he says rings true. We need to take control of our children's education. Our children's education should not be in the hands of white folks. We have seen what they've done to our community for decades. They are not there to teach your kid a goddamn thing. They are there to indoctrinate them and make them accept white supremacy and have that school to prison pipeline going. They are not there for any other reason. Okay. Not only are white cops a problem in the Black community, white teachers are a major problem in the Black community too, period. And we have to do, just looking at the Umar Johnson situation, ladies and gentlemen, we got to do a better job in supporting each other, period. We don't take our fights in front of people that don't look like us, period. And those that are hell-bent on fighting within our community, it is time we treat them just like we treat any other coon, period. We got to do a better job at shutting these people down and cutting them off. Well, you know what? I haven't listened to Boyce Watson, that girl, in quite some time. He has put out some messages that have made my stomach turn. I can only take so much of him now. You know, before in the past, I could listen to his message. I'm not even subscribed to Dr. Boyce Watkins anymore. I'm not even subscribed. I just can't stomach him sometimes. You know why my greatness inside of me 198433. You know why black people hate on others? Because there is no easier target on this earth, and most people know the black community is the most unprotected community on the earth right now. So not only do white people know we're easy targets, so do many of our people within our group. That's why I'm saying we have to do a better job in fighting those that are hell bent on destroying us in front of the entire planet. Those people that want to take a stand against their own people and make it a public fight, those are the people we need to go after and shut down, period. Oh, well, hold on. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I mean, I think maybe you need to reboot. I have another one of my devices on and I hear my sound. I can hear my voice. I just got it turned down low, but I can hear my voice. Okay. No, but what I'm saying is, thank you, y'all. What I'm saying is those that are hell bent on taking the family fight public, those are the people that we need to shut down. We treat them like we treat the coon, period. You don't take the family fight public. Now, you want to disagree with someone, that's fine. Everybody has the right to disagree. But when you start putting up YouTube videos and you're trying to verbalize your destruction of another person, that's a problem. Okay, because there are plenty of ways we can communicate our disagreements. But I agree with him. These people are building whole pages and videos about him. No, that's not right. So I just wanted you to hear that video. Some of you might have already seen it before, but some of you may have not. So I just wanted you to hear just what he was saying from his own mouth and not from a third party relaying the message to you. Yeah, I have been disappointed in Boyce Watkins for a while now, and I won't even mess with him. Yeah, I heard about Yvette Carnell went off on him. I did not get to see that as of yet, but I did hear about that. Right. That's exactly right, S. Wiseman. He promotes integration, and when I start noticing that, that's when I got away from him. That's exactly right, S. Wiseman. Exactly right. You have to be very careful. I mean, if you're okay with integration, then stay with Boyce Watkins. Okay. Maybe the next time we do a hangout, I'll pull up a couple of his videos and you can listen to it for yourself. You'll have to listen to his videos, but he's pro integration, y'all. And I'm just not down with that. Sometimes it's good to pull the videos up and you can listen to it for yourself. you know, you know. All right. Yeah, he has talked greasy about Umar Johnson, and I don't agree with him doing that over YouTube videos. I don't agree with that at all. Yeah, and I don't care for him doing all that crying on video either. He tends to cry a lot for a man, and I don't care for that either. Yes, our men have the right to be emotional sometimes and stuff like that, but I've seen that man cry on videos, crocodile tears, y'all, a few times. Yeah, so that was I kind of got away from him about 2, 3 years ago. Yeah, integration has been a detrimental thing on our community, and it's still got many of our people completely brainwashed, and they don't want to leave the white community alone. They want to stay with them, and they're going to fight to stay integrated down to their last breath, unfortunately. Hi, Black Bolt. All right, so now let's move on to some of the other videos I have up. So we did Erica Garner, we did Umar. Now, some of you might have heard about the UN troops going into Chicago. Let me tell you something. Whenever you hear chatter about something, ladies and gentlemen, that means it done already happened. They're just bringing it to the public now. But I can tell you, I've heard from a few people in Chicago that said they've already seen UN vehicles driving around there already. So this is a story that came out on Fox News, and they're talking about bringing the UN, peacekeepers into Chicago. The way I see it, they can't be no worse than the cops, okay? Because by now we know Chicago police is not going to get control of the crime because they are part of the crime, okay, period. So you can't get a criminal police force to get control over crime. It simply will not happen. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
You'll remember President Trump offered to provide federal help to Chicago to reduce its homicide rate, one of the highest in the nation. Well, the city's Democratic mayor, Rahm Emanuel, said no way he wanted the National Guard roaming the Windy City. Well, now Cook County Commissioner Richard Boykin is proposing a bold idea. He's calling for United Nations peacekeepers to come and patrol the streets of Chicago. Boykin flew to New York today to discuss his request with a UN official. Listen to this.
I'm hoping to appeal to the UN to actually come to Chicago and meet with victims of violence and maybe even possibly help out in terms of peacekeeping efforts.
Well, joining me now to discuss that, Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell. Great to have you with us tonight, Gianno.
Well, guys, I don't typically like to get into...
All right, I'm going to stop it there. I just wanted you to see that they were discussing this on Fox News. I really don't want that white guy's opinion. He's not a black person living in Chicago dealing with criminal cops, okay? Our people are. But here's what I think. The UN peacekeeper cannot be any worse than the cops. The cops, we know, are the criminals in Chicago. It's been too many decades of the Chicago police not resolving a damn thing because, number one, they're part of the problem, so they're not going to resolve crime in Chicago. And Rahm Emanuel is the damn devil. He's not about to do anything. I will never forget how he took part in covering up a lot of the police corruption that has been going on. So he's not a damn bit of good either. So the UN peacekeepers, in my opinion, the fact that this story is coming up, they are already there. They're already in Chicago. They're not going to resolve crimes, Jerry S., because they're the ones committing the crimes. They're the ones doing all those shootings in Chicago. That's being done by the cops. So you can't expect them to resolve something that they're part of. And it's amazing how all these shootings over the years, and they can't get nothing resolved. They can't get it resolved because they're the ones doing it. Plain and simple. Yeah, exactly. Right. Chicago is not even among the top 10 worst cities in America. This is propaganda, y'all. It's propaganda. See, white people want Chicago. They want Chicago. They want to clear out Chicago so they can have it. So, what's the best way in running out the Black population? You put out all this propaganda about how bad the crime is. And hey, shalom, Sister Shayla. And you run out the Black community by telling them crime is bad. But do you know, while they're sitting around, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to keep this in mind. They're talking about how bad Chicago is, but a whole bunch of white people are moving in and gentrifying Chicago right now as we speak. Chicago is very gentrified. So if it's really that bad, why are all these white people moving in there? You know why? Because they want Chicago for themselves. They want Chicago for themselves. So they have to use the police, the propaganda, which is your mainstream media, and all these other tools in order to discourage the Black population there. So they'll move out and the white population move in. They want Chicago. Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. You know, they are moving. It's a lot of white people moving into Chicago. It's a lot of stuff going. You talk to anybody from Chicago, they'll tell you the white people are moving in there in droves. But at the same time, they're talking about how bad it is in Chicago. You just got to see the trickery that's being played on everybody. Right. And people in Chicago will even tell you the cops drop off boxes of guns into the neighborhood. They'll just walk along and all of a sudden there'll be a random box of guns just sitting on the ground in Chicago because, see, they're hoping that the people will take those guns and use them on each other. And he said that's been going on in Chicago for decades. Yeah. Yeah, they're gentrifying all over the place, but you know what? Their asses are dying out. There's only so much gentrifying they can do. Yeah, I mean, New York is bad, especially Harlem, CK. Harlem is bad. They damn near got all of Harlem. Yeah, well, see, Rahm Emanuel was one, along with that attorney general, that Anita, I forgot her last name, but you know, she got voted out anyway. But they took part in covering up for Laquan McDonald's murder. That's why I'm saying, you know, he himself is the devil. You know, gentrification is going on everywhere. You even got now the Asians taking over Jamaica of all places. There's a massive amount of people from China and Chinese people going in and completely taking over the island of Jamaica now. And the Jamaican people barely got a say on their own island. The Black people there barely got a say there now. Yes. The West Side, yeah. Yeah, they're taking over. But see, that's what's going on, y'all. They want the property in Chicago. They want that for themselves. They want to be able to figure out ways to run the Black population out so that they can move the white population in. And that's what's going on in Chicago. Yeah, I got family, Lord Mall, in College Park. In fact, that's where the bulk of my family is. They're in College Park down there in Atlanta. In fact, they wanted me to come down there and move with them, but I just don't want to, after going down there and seeing the traffic, whoo, I thought the traffic was bad in New Jersey. I tell you what, that traffic down there in Atlanta got New Jersey beat by leaps and bounds. They really do. Yeah, that's the thing. China done gave a lot of money to those Black Jamaican politicians to stay silent as that island is being gentrified by the Chinese. That's what has happened. All right. JMC Clinton, 8. Hello, New Jerseyan. Yeah, the traffic, woo! I had to stay down in Atlanta for, in fact, my job sent me down to Atlanta for training. And I was down there for 1 week. So I had my family, they had paid for my hotel room, but my family came and got me every single day and took me places the whole time I was down there. But man, I tell you what, I looked out of my hotel room at night. It must have been like 8 o'clock at night, and it was still bumper to bumper traffic at 8 o'clock at night. Now, usually here in New Jersey, like around 6:30, it starts dying out. Most people are home and you see much less traffic. But down there, it starts at rush hour. You can look out of your hotel room at 8:30 at night and the traffic is still bumper to bumper in Atlanta. I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen it that bad before until I went down there. Okay. All right. So now we did Chicago. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this next story. This next story is about the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, they always refer to the 12 tribes as the lost tribes. Many of us have heard this for years, the lost tribes, the lost tribes. Ladies and gentlemen, the tribes are not lost. There are many people on this earth that knows exactly where the tribes are, but they will not speak it, okay? They will not reveal it to the world, but they know exactly where all of them are. And I think a lot of the problem is the 12 tribe chart that came out by many of the street camps is completely inaccurate. This is why people are walking around and they think the Haitians are Levi and Ephraim is the Puerto Ricans and all that stuff. And it just simply ain't true, y'all. Remember, all 12 tribes did not go into captivity. He couldn't do that. He couldn't put all of us into captivity because it would have destroyed the entire family. So the Most High kept many of our family intact right there in Africa. They never left. It's not really, it's Israel. Remember, a big portion of Africa is Israel. They never left. They are still there. They are still intact. It was Judah that was scattered in all four corners of the earth. We were the bulk of the tribe that went through chattel slavery. Some of us, we all split off. Some went into the Arab world. Some were over in Europe. Some were here in America. Some are in South America. In other words, family, our enslavement was global. It was global. Now, some of the most horrific slavery was here in America and over there in the Arab world. But see, those fake Jews that are sitting in Israel, ladies and gentlemen, they know who the hell we are. Many of them know they're fake. They're not the real thing. And it's so much beyond that. They financed the slave trade. Those fake Jews that you're looking at, even here and over in Israel, they are the direct descendants of those that put our slaves on those ships and took them across the world into slavery. They financed it. You know, a few years ago, I had one talk to me and I let him know. I said, y'all financed the slave trade. You are the direct descendants of the ones that financed the slave trade. He extended his hand to try to shake my hand. I wouldn't shake his hand. I'm not shaking the hand of the people that did this to my people. I'm not shaking his hand. And I didn't. I refused to shake his hand. So just know, ladies and gentlemen, those people, you know, some of them are going to confess. Some of them are going to lie down to their last breath and say they're the real Jews. They are not. So I'm going to let you listen to this rabbi who they're probably going to end up killing, because anybody that comes out and confessed in a big way about who we are, they usually end up dead. You remember the man from the 13th tribe? There's a book out, y'all, called The 13th Tribe. He told the entire world through his book that the Jews over in Israel had no connection to the real Hebrews. He and his wife ended up dead, and they claim it was a suicide. They both end up dead, both of them. But you can still buy that book. You can still buy The 13th Tribe out on Amazon. And he breaks it down, how they became the Jews. Ladies and gentlemen, when we went into captivity, that's when they stole our identity. They took our identity, right, Arthur Koestler. They took our identity at a time when we couldn't even defend ourselves. So when we went into chattel slavery, they conveniently stole our identity. Prior to that, ladies and gentlemen, they weren't even calling themselves Jews. What does that tell you? They were not calling themselves Jews. If you want to know what they were calling themselves, crack open the Bible. The Bible tells you. They were calling themselves serpent people. Serpent people. And you know them little curls they wear? Those curls they wear on the side of their head represent serpents. Serpent people is what they called themselves. That right, the Khazars, exactly. Okay. And the thing is, many of you that know the stories in the Bible, yep, synagogue of Satan. Y'all know your stuff. You know, I'm impressed, y'all. I'm impressed. That's right. That's when they stole our identity, when we could not fight or defend ourselves. And they're converts. They are not the real people. They converted. In fact, they were threatened into converting to being Jews, but they are not the original. Right, in the Bible, they are referred to as Ashkenaz. Today, you might hear the term as Ashkenazi, but it's the same people. All right, this next video is going to be a Khazar, and he's going to confess who the real Jews are. This is a video that actually came out this year, okay? Not only is he going to confess on video, he goes all the way into Africa to tell the African people who they are. Okay, he takes this all the way into Africa. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Do we trust the Khazar? Hell no. You don't have to trust these people, but just listen to the message. It doesn't make their message invalid. In fact, the Most High forbids us to trust these people, and we shouldn't. But again, it doesn't make what he's saying invalid. So let's go ahead and listen to the video. All right, now I want to stop him right there. What he is saying, ladies and gentlemen, is very biblical. The Sabbatean River is right beyond Ethiopia. This river is right beyond Ethiopia. Do you know that's in the Bible? It's right beyond the it's right beyond Ethiopia. He is saying that's where the 10 tribes are located in Africa. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on.
As you saw that Hasidic Ashkenazi Khazar Jew say that the 10 tribes are beyond the Sabbatean River. And that's in Africa, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. But before I play the next video of the rabbi confessing to the blacks in Dimona, let me quickly go to the book of Zephaniah. Because these camps, they have been lying to you. Let me go to the book of Zephaniah real quick. Zephaniah chapter 3. Yah says, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offerings from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Now let's go to the next video clip of this top rabbi who came to Dimona to confess to the blacks in Dimona, the Hebrews in Dimona, to confess that the 10 tribes are indeed beyond the rivers of Ethiopia.
We'll ask the rabbi, Daniel, to please come and have a word with us.
I don't know where, but they didn't let him go. We have a mission to fulfill. A lot of compellable evidence of the 10 tribes researchers that came to give us evidence from Africa. There is tribes, 10 tribes of Israel exist in Africa. I will tell you, I'll reveal to you a little secret. I went to the Talmud and I opened the Gemara that we have. And I started to dig into a big spiritual research where the 10 tribes of Israel have gone. And I was able to find in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 94 that the Gemara asks where the 10 tribes have gone, and clearly Mao Zupa state to Africa. Yeah. I want you to know that it was not sufficient for me to dig and see one word, but I was searching. Rashi, 850 years ago, wrote the 10 tribes went to one place, Africa. The other 2 tribes, Benjamin and Judah, spread all over the world, and Hashem will gather them. And the 10 tribes of Israel went to Africa, and by the end of time, they'll come. I want you to know that according to the secrecy of the Zohar, which is the book that we just celebrate, like the Omer, and you saw all the fire that around Dimona probably. I want you to know that according to the light of the fire, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai states clearly that by the end of time, the enemies of Israel will be defeated by the 10 tribes of Israel. It will be revealed, and they will defeat the enemies of Israel. I also want you to know that there is Tosfot Yom Tov, which is another 850 years ago writer on the Talmud that states the same clear sentence: 10 tribes of Garner, and they're in Africa, and we do have, according to the Talmud, enough knowledge to know that to search for them in Africa. Now we have a compatible evidence of clear message from many people. For example, one of the people that worked in the Mossad, used to work in the Mossad, met me and he told me, look, I want you to know that I was able to find 55 synagogues in Nigeria.
Reports told of Jewish tribes living beyond the mythical Sambatyon River, of a remote African land inhabited by the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Reports told of Jewish tribes living beyond the mythical Sambatyon River, of a remote African land inhabited by the 10 lost tribes of Israel.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Even in our biblical text, as I stated before, it did not say our tribes were lost all over the world. He had to keep our tribes intact in order for there to even be a 12 tribes left on this earth. So we have our tribes in Africa exactly where the Bible said they are. They are intact beyond the Sabian River over in Africa. So that is just beyond Ethiopia. That's where our family is. So all of this 12 tribes, oh, this group, the Haitians are this, and the Dominicans are this, and the Cubans are this, all false. All false. All false. So we have to learn how to dispel even the incorrect information that is being provided among some of our own people. Our family is exactly where our father said they would be. And they have been there for many centuries now. Right. The chart that Aria dreamed, that mess came from some dream Aria had. Come on. The chart is not real, y'all. It's not real. Our people are exactly where the Most High said they would be. They are still over in the land of Africa, and they are intact. It is Judah that is spread. Now, if there is another tribe outside, that would be Benjamin. But all of the other tribes are still sitting right there. And what you know is Africa, but technically they're in Israel. Absolutely, Leslie Williams, the chart is completely incorrect. And we have to start dismissing some of the bad teachings that have been given to us not only by the white man, but by our own people as well. Okay, oh, Jackson Ali. Now, some of you, and speaking of that, some of you have sent me stories, and you don't realize that I've done some of the stories that you have sent me. That's why I haven't done them again. Quite a few people sent me stories on, the white children going into the foster care system. I've done several stories on that already. Did one recently. Yeah, I call Sonny, I call the Talmud the tall mud. Because, that is not something we go by. Yeah, the chart is absolutely incorrect. Queen True Royal, don't ever go by that chart. Our people, our family is sitting in Africa. It's there. They've always been there since we were kidnapped and brought here, and some of us were already here. Remember, we have navigated the entire earth and inhabited the entire earth long before this white devil showed up on the scene. We had already been living life and enjoying the land, and it makes me laugh that they think we can't do shit without them when we already got a history of doing plenty without them. I even had a couple of white people come onto my video about Zimbabwe, talking about, well, yeah, the white farmers got to come. How you gonna eat? What do you mean, how we gonna eat? We were eating long before your white ass. So Africa didn't eat for thousands of years until white people show up. Don't let these people try to run that con game on y'all. Our people lived on Africa for thousands and thousands of years long before their asses showed up. And they got the nerve to talk about how is somebody going to eat. Get the hell out of here with that crap. So they know where the tribes are, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They know exactly where all of the tribes are on this earth. So I know they will still slap the label lost tribes, but we're really not lost at all. They just won't tell us. But you see how this Khazar knew where they were, knew the river that they're living in, and exactly where their location is in Africa. We're not lost at all. Right. White people are not feeding us, black people. They're not feeding us. Don't fall for that. We were on this earth long before them. And you sure ain't going to survive without eating. Don't even pay them no mind. It's just another con game they're trying to run on black people. Exactly. We taught them. Exactly. So the confessions are going to come in these last days, ladies and gentlemen. And those confessions are coming out of fear. They know their downfall is coming. Many of them are trying to save themselves. So it's one of many confessions you are going to hear. You're going to hear a lot more coming in 2018. You're going to hear a lot of confessions coming. Exactly. Remember, the Khazars aren't even supposed to exist. They were supposed to be all slaughtered. Remember, the Most High said, slaughter them, slaughter the children, slaughter their livestock, slaughter everything. And they weren't slaughtered. And that's why we're looking at them today. because we had a very disobedient king in the Bible that should have done something, and he held back on doing it. So, you know, all of those kings you read about in the Bible, many of them, ladies and gentlemen, were very wicked. They were not good kings. Now, we had kings, but they all weren't good kings. Many of them were very wicked. Yeah, it's a damn shame, but these are the times that we're in. Well, yeah, Lord Maul. And plus, like I said, when they met us, we had people in villages in Africa that were living to 120 years old. This is documented, y'all. And your average European white male had a life expectancy of 35 years. But they taught us. I don't think so. It don't take a rocket scientist to see that. All right, now let's move on to North Korea. You know, of course, you know the United States want North Korea to end their nuclear weapons program, and of course, they're not going to do it, and you can't blame them for not doing it. So they've slapped more sanctions on North Korea recently, you know, and they're in the UN. And they're pretty much saying it's a pipe dream if you think we'll give up our nukes. And they're right for feeling this way. And the reason why I say that, ladies and gentlemen, is because Muammar Gaddafi gave up his nukes. And look at what happened to him. And believe me, they saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. There is no one on this earth, after watching the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, they're going to give up their nukes. You're not going to find any country now that is going to let their nukes go after seeing how they slaughtered Muammar Gaddafi. It's just not going to happen. So that's another story that came out, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But one thing, the U.S. is very reluctant to mess with anybody that got nukes. See, they'll go over there and mess with Iraq and Afghanistan because they don't have nothing. They don't have a damn thing. So it's easy to go over there and bully them little teeny countries that can't fight back. But see, North Korea got nukes. They're not so quick to go in there and flex their muscles on those people. Plus, that Kim Jong-un, he's got a million, I think 1.2 million man army that's right there on his soil. The U.S. Army is spread out all over the globe because they're too busy trying to steal everybody's resources. So their army is not intact. If America was attacked right now, this country would be in bad shape because you do not have all of your military on American soil. Those people would have to try to get back into the country to fight. Where North Korea, they got every man, woman, and child right there on their soil to fight. Oh, a lot of places are unstable. The Middle East have not been stable for many decades now because of the United States. And we know Libya is not stable. Everywhere the U.S. go, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to notice one thing. Whenever they go in on a country, that country is destabilized forever. They have never gone anywhere in this world and made a country better after an invasion. Not once. Never. So if the U.S. say they're going to go and invade something, they're going to destabilize it, and that place will never be the same for good. If you don't believe it, look at Syria. U.S. went over there and bombed up Syria. Syria has never been the same since. So yes, they are scared of North Korea because now North Korea has proven they got capability of having missiles that can reach the US. In fact, that last rocket launch, they said that rocket could literally make it all the way to Washington, D.C. from North Korea. So yes, they got their eye on North Korea because they're scared of them. They're not going to tell you that, but they are. Oh yeah, yeah. Haiti has been in shambles. They're not going to build up Haiti. They're going to make those people fend for themselves. In fact, they're trying to get the Haitians out of the country. I'm sure some of y'all heard about the latest remarks Trump made about Haitians and Nigerians. That, of course, he's denying, but I don't have no doubt that he made these comments. He tried to make a comment stating that Haitians all have AIDS. The Haitians, they all got AIDS. And he said the Nigerians, now that they've lived in America, they're not going to ever go back to those mud huts. And by the way, all Black people do not live in mud huts in Africa. But see, this is the type of propaganda they put out and spread among each other. Yes, Haitians, yes, they are. Yes, they are. We just happen to live in different parts of the world. Trump is only in office because white supremacy is scared. They're scared. Your population's declining. They know how bad this drug epidemic is that's killing them off every single day. And they are losing their grip on the world. That's why I did that video on the UN, because it shows you that the world is not with the US. And no matter how much they make threats, as you can see, the world don't even care about their threats anymore. Their big thing that they do now is talk about defunding countries. And as you can see, those countries don't even give a damn about their money anymore. They're like, take your damn money and get the hell out of here. We don't care. But see, you would never have seen that in the UN even 10 years ago. You would have seen a lot of countries that would have been scared to go against the US. But as you can see, when Nikki Haley got up at that mic and threatened all those countries, they still heavily voted against the US. They didn't care. And they all let her know, we don't take kind to your bullying. So you can see that America's really losing their control over the earth. That is just the beginning. No, that is just another psychological warfare on Black people, my greatness inside of me. There is no way the people that built America ruined it. It's just not possible. And, and if they're upset about how Black people are today, the white man is the biggest creator of the nigger. Okay. He created the nigger. So, that's just the way it is. He created us to be where we are today. So, hey, if he's got a Black problem, he caused his own Black problem. I don't feel bad for him. Yeah, America's falling. America has been in decline for many years, many decades now, actually. Well, they never forgave the Haitians for defeating them. So, that's why they let the Haitians suffer whenever they go through a disaster, they don't really truly help those people at all. They just collect all kinds of money and donations, but when you look at Haiti itself, it's not being helped at all. Well, yeah, yeah. You know, that's around the scales 2247. That's around the region where the next war is going to break out. You know, it's a lot of chattering about Jerusalem, and actually that's very biblical because the next war is going to start in that region. What many of you have heard as Armageddon. That's where it's going to start. So it's not shocking that you have right now 3 groups fighting over that land, Jerusalem. You have the Arabs, you have the Jewish people, the fake Jews, and you have the Palestinians. All 3 of them right now are fighting over that land. All 3 of them are, and it don't belong to any of them. Yeah. Fly, Ty, Breezy, they won't even show the tribes on TV. So we don't know how they feel, but I know if they are part of our tribes, they want the tribes back together. All of us have that desire. You know, many of us are dispersed. We never stop longing for our family to be back together, you know? So I'm sure they do, but they're not showing our family on TV that's still over in Africa. So we don't know how they feel, but I'm sure they, just like us, they want the family back together. Yes, I remember the cholera. In fact, I did a story on that. They put cholera in Haiti on purpose. America is not ready for this next war. They are not. They may talk all that shit, but they are not ready for the next war. Oh yeah, it was a lot of people that raised bona fide 1970. It was a lot of people that raised funds for the Haitian people. Remember the Clinton Foundation? They were another one that raised all kinds of money, and the money never reached the Haitian people. And we know the Red Cross did, and none of the money reached the Haitian people. Many of them are in makeshift homes. It's really, it's, you know, it's really a shame. I think they built 6 homes, and then after that, they didn't give any more money into Haiti. And to this day, those people are still in need. My next door neighbors are from Haiti. And then I met another Haitian woman. Her family was ran out of Haiti. They were told to leave Haiti or they would die. Her dad was a politician over there. And he got thrown out of office. And she said one day they came to her house, knocked on the door, and told the family to leave now. If you don't leave, we're going to kill you. So they all had to board a plane with nothing but the clothes on their backs and fly into America. She said they were thrown out and they were told never to come back to Haiti. So, you know, it's a mess. It really is. But see, ladies and gentlemen, what you don't realize and what never made the news, do you know the Haitians invited the African Americans to come and live there? They said, if you're tired of the racism, and you're tired of being mistreated, come live in Haiti. They said to us, hey, we may not have much. We may be a poor island, but we welcome the African Americans. You can come live here. And you know, that never got out to our people. Just like a lot of the African nations are inviting our people to come and live there. Benin, Ghana, or just a few, you know, there's a lot of African nations that have reached out to us along the Ivory Coast. Senegal is another one. A lot of those nations are saying, you know, we got the door open. You can come, you can get dual citizenship. And Haiti was another one of those places that invited us to come and make a home and life there if we were sick of America. In fact, they were the only island that opened their doors to African Americans to come and live there. And it's a shame we didn't do it, because we could have financially really built up Haiti and make it. Yeah, Benin also invited us to come in and live there. It wasn't just Ghana. A lot of people think it was just Ghana. Ghana was one of many. Right, you can get dual citizenship with all of those African countries, Leslie, all of them. And if you want to know more, the best thing to do is contact the embassy of those African nations and find out, you know, about getting land, because they offered in Ghana and Benin, they offered free land. If you want to go there, and the Ivory Coast, that's right, and they offered free land. New Guinea. Exactly. Free land to American, African Americans, descendants of slaves that want to return back to West Africa. You know, so you could get your land and then build a home on top of your land and buy, you know, you can, and land in Africa is cheap. I was looking at, yeah, you get the land for free if you return back. And you don't have to live there full time. You can get a home there, you know, get your land from them and come back to America. Just secure your land. There were more than just Ghana. It was more than just Ghana. Oh yeah, I was looking at Uganda. Uganda is another place that wanted African Americans there. I was chatting, this was years ago, online with somebody from Uganda. And he said he wished that more African Americans would come into Uganda and start businesses. And I was asking him why. He said they hate the East Indians and the Arabs. They said the East Indians and Arabs treat the Ugandan people like shit when they go into their stores. They said when they give them money, they won't even put the money back in the people's hands. They always put it down on the counter, and they refuse to put money in their hands after they've spent their money in their stores. And they were saying they wish that African Americans would come into Uganda and set businesses up. So they said if we did that, they would never go in another Arab or East Indian business again. They would patronize the businesses of the African Americans if we came there and set up businesses. And that's exactly what he told me. He said because they can't stand those Arabs, but they are literally stuck with them. They got all of the businesses in Uganda, and they can't stand it. But I remember he specifically said, he said, how come you African Americans won't come here and live and set up businesses here in Uganda. He said, we dying for y'all to come here. We want y'all to come here and take over the businesses from these Arabs. We can't stand them. And I will never forget him saying that to me. And right after he said that to me, I started looking at what businesses cost in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, those businesses are not a lot of money. I was looking at one that was up for sale. It was a coffee shop. And all the owner wanted for it was $10,000. He wanted to retire. $10,000. That's all he wanted. And it was a coffee shop that was open 7 days a week. He had a steady clientele that came to his coffee shop every day, but he was ready to give up the coffee shop for $10,000 just so they could retire. So you can get a lot of good businesses there for free. And not only, I mean, not for free, but really cheap. And he was telling me another big business that a lot of people make money in Uganda are the internet cafes. Like if you're willing to set up an internet cafe and just put a whole bunch of computers in there, he said a lot of people in Uganda don't have access to internet at home. So what they'll do is whenever they want to get on the internet, they'll just go to an internet cafe. They pay money to use the computers at the internet cafe. And it says, oh, that's big business over there. That's a big thing that they really like. Just $10,000 for a coffee shop. I would not, me personally, I wouldn't mind running a coffee shop. I wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, the internet cafes, they said that is in great demand over in Uganda. Great demand. Because so many people just don't have computers at home. So many of them don't have the internet. So they're always looking for an internet cafe to go to. And it's not expensive to set that up. You just need to get a shop and be willing to buy like so many computers to put in there. And you can sell coffee in there, you know, and maybe snacks to the people that are just sitting in there using the computers. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's going to take, if you are serious about, and another thing I was looking at Uganda, you guys, do you know you can get a 5-bedroom home with 3.5 bathrooms in Uganda for $60,000? And the house is ginormous. The house is ginormous. $60,000. You can get a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath, huge home in Uganda. Okay. It don't take a lot of money to live good. It really don't over there in Africa. And I was reading in Nigeria, if you are willing to spend $100,000, $100,000 in Nigeria can get you a mansion. Just like those big mansions you see in Hollywood, you can get a mansion just like that in Nigeria for $100,000. You can have same Beverly Hills mansion that you're looking at in the United States. If you go over there to Nigeria, you can get one constructed just like those massive size ones you see there for $100,000, y'all. $100,000. That's it. And you'll be living like kings and queens over there. Yeah. I saw some of the mansions in Nigeria. They're beautiful. Nice mansions. Look some of this stuff up, brothers and sisters. Look at how much the cost of a home is, a decent home is in Africa. And Phil from the Advice Show had a woman on there from Cameroon. She was saying you can get a beautiful home in Cameroon for $20,000. $20,000. She said you can get a nice home in Cameroon. Okay. We are just economically not thinking the right way. We're seriously not. No. And guess what? When I was looking at Uganda, you can get acres and acres of land. 1 acre of land in Uganda is $1,500 for 1 full acre of land. An acre of land is a nice sized piece of land, y'all. So if you had like $15,000, you could get 10 acres of land in Uganda. 10 acres. And Uganda is a very special place, y'all. Do you know the Garden of Eden is also in Uganda? The Garden of Eden is right there in Uganda. Right there. Right. You can barely get a starter home, right? You got that right. But I'm just telling you, because I was looking at some of the real estate there and I was blown away when I saw for $60,000 in Uganda, a 5-bedroom, 300 bed, and the house was ginormous. It was a huge house. I'm like, oh my God, for $60,000. Yeah, I mean, it really, yeah. Yeah, you get a much better home over in Africa than you would here in America for that same amount of money. No, no. Look up the Nigerian mansions. Just look that up. They got mansions over in Nigeria, and those mansions go for like, you can get one for like $100,000. Well, Tony, one thing I do know, and this is what the Africans have explained to me. When you live in a more upscale location, it's minimal crime. The crime is minimal. The more upscale you live there, the less crime you'll see. So if you were to, let's say, get that $60,000 home in Uganda, the more, you live like that, the less crime there is. If you're going to live around a bunch of poor people over there, then yeah, you'll be living around a lot of crime. It's the same way here in the US. You live in a poor area, you're going to have a lot of crime. But if you live more upscale away from those poor areas, it's less crime. Hi, B Miles. But y'all should check some of that out. That's really worth seeing, It really is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like anywhere else. Unfortunately, crime is global. It's global. You're not going to completely get away from it. Even in Haiti, if you live in the poor areas, it's a lot of crime. But if you live in the area where the more expensive homes are, it's less crimes. And plus, those people, they can afford armed guards. So, and poor people ain't gonna mess with no armed guards. So they don't have as much crime in those areas where the rich are in Haiti. There's a lot of rich people that live in Haiti too. I don't know. My greatness, if they gave me something, I know my ass is out of here. Ooh, man, they don't have to say nothing to me twice. But see, they don't want us gone. And, America don't want its black citizens gone. No matter how much they talk all that, go back to Africa. If we all packed up and left and went back to Africa, there would be no more America. And they know it. America would be gone. White people cannot sustain America on their own. That's why they love immigration, y'all. There's a reason why they love immigration so much in this country. I used to be in the IT field. I'm not anymore. That's right, Shayla. America would fall flat on its face without us, and they know it. That's why in all these centuries, they never tried to get us out of here, because they can't. That's right. Immigration boosts their numbers, B. Miles, and it boosts their economy, because those immigrants, once they start working, it also boosts the economy. Yes, but be careful reading that, Annie B. When I was reading one of the articles, it was talking about drugs in the Black community for over 20 years ago. It was not recent. So trust and believe. Yes, the Black community still does have, to some degree, a drug problem, but it still is not overshadowing. The white community's drug problem is far exceeding the Black community. See, they have to put those propaganda pieces out there because they know how bad it looks for the white community right now with their drug problem. So now they got to try to throw a drug problem on the other groups in the country. Just pay it no mind. That's right, Sister Shayla. They do. They make you go through hell and all kinds of red tape just to get a passport. But I have a passport, and I got one. In fact, everybody in my household got a passport. And you really should have one. You should have a passport. If you can't do nothing else, try to get yourself a passport. I mean, they don't care about giving you a passport, because if they really don't want you to go anywhere, all they can do is revoke it. Just like they revoke your driver's license, they can revoke a passport. That's why they don't care about giving those out to people. Yeah, the houses are very nice. When you start looking at the nicer areas over in Africa, the houses are very nice over there. Well, yeah, I mean, it's expensive to travel. Even look at the plane tickets for Africa. Very expensive. Very expensive. Yeah, yeah. But just start looking at homes in Africa and start looking at businesses for sale. You can even find databases. I used to look at them years ago. You can find all kinds of databases and where they list businesses for sale in Africa. If you're interested in getting a business set up first and get that running and established over in Africa, and then, from that revenue, you can get your home built, get a brand new home built. Yeah, believe me, the world is wide open. You're only stuck if you believe you're stuck. Unfortunately, in America, they put a lot of bad propaganda out about Africa and Haiti and Jamaica, all of the places that our people are sitting in. They always give those places bad propaganda. But while they're giving you bad propaganda, they're running over there, taking vacations there and doing all kinds of stuff. Look up how many times white people go to Africa for vacation. They've been going to Africa for vacation for centuries. and at the same time sitting in your face and bad-mouthing Africa. Okay? They're at the same time, they're bad-mouthing Africa. They're running over there, vacationing there. And in my opinion, when they start building Puerto Rico up, they're going to gentrify Puerto Rico. They are going to gentrify Puerto Rico because everything on that island is going to be brand new. It's going to be brand new homes, brand new businesses, brand new roads. You think they're not going to look at that as an opportunity to go there and take over that island? They're going to take it over. Oh yeah, they live all over Africa, but that doesn't mean you can't go there and establish a life there. You know, unfortunately, the ideal thing is if we move there, they get the hell out, but we know that's not going to happen. They know what resources are in Africa. They're not going to leave out of there. Just like there's a pretty decent sized white population in Jamaica. There's a lot of white people, white Americans, as we speak, that live in Jamaica. A big, pretty sizable population of them live in Jamaica. Yeah, Liberia, that's right. That's always been a home to us as well over there in Africa. Very true. Jada T. You know, many of our people are in Puerto Rico, but again, they only show you the lighter shade Puerto Rican, and they rarely show you the Afro Puerto Rican on TV. So you don't even know they're there, but they are there. They have done that systematically all over this globe when it comes down to their media. Yeah, Lord Maul, unfortunately, the Jamaican people are complaining their asses off about all the Asians there now. It's really nothing they can do. You know, they got sold out by their own people. That's what happened in Jamaica. And it's a shame, but the island damn near belongs to China now. And I sure don't want to go visit Jamaica and see a whole herd of Chinese people. That's just not what I want to do. I mean, if I wanted to see them, I can, you know, I'm actually not that far away from Chinatown in Philadelphia. I can just get in my car and go to Chinatown. Well, yeah, see, they're indoors running their businesses, Bald Barbie. You know, they're not out in the sun. A lot of those Chinese people, there's Chinese restaurants all over Jamaica now, and all kinds of businesses that the Chinese people run. And the worst part is they treat those Jamaicans like shit. And that's what they're complaining about. They pay them, and some of the Jamaicans say that they work in China. The Chinese people there with businesses hardly want to pay them. they have a hard time getting paid their wages when they work for the Chinese people. The Chinese people want them to work for free. So it's been a terrible struggle for the Jamaican people there. It's been terrible for them. As they were saying, because I was watching one video, and maybe I'll play it on my next live stream, where the Jamaicans said, you know, I've worked all month and they haven't given me one dime. I've been coming here every day. I haven't missed one day of work and they haven't paid me. And I'm like, what? But yeah, that's what those Chinese people are doing. They invaded Jamaica and treating the people like complete crap. Oh yeah, the black population's been there even before chattel slavery was here in America. They've always been there. Remember, our people not only navigated the entire earth, but we lived in every nation long before these people from the caves showed up on the scene. We had already lived everywhere. Yeah, well, Jamaica need to be mad at the people that sold them out. That's who they should really be mad at. Yeah, do you know, Decent D, do you know the Arabs own 6% of America? This is why they don't do nothing to the Arabs. If you notice, with all the terrorist attacks and everything that happened in America, they hardly do anything to them Arabs. The Arabs literally own 6% of America. 6% of America is owned by the Arabs. That's why they won't do nothing to them. And that's why they own all the gas stations and the convenience stores and all that stuff. They actually literally own a portion of America. And we already know China does too. Probably why they're killing them off with the fentanyl. They're trying to kill off the people from their land. Isn't that irony showing its ugly head again? Now, these caucasoids cleared the land off of the natives so they could live here, and now China is clearing their asses out with the fentanyl. You can't make it up. No, what I think they did was they paid politicians off in Jamaica to allow the Arabs to come there and take over the land and take over many of the businesses in Jamaica. You know, it's our people once again selling each other out. And it's a damn shame. Yeah, that's right. Chris Christie, that's our lame ass governor here in New Jersey, B. Miles. That's right. He's blaming China for the fentanyl. And he's right. You know, all of that fentanyl that you see killing all of these folks in America, all that shit is tied right back to China. That's where it originated. That's exactly where it came from. Even all of the fentanyl that's coming across the border from Mexico, that still originated from China. Labs in China. And it's shipped by mail to Mexico, and then all of those drugs that come across the border into the United States, even if it comes from Mexico, it still originated from China. And these fools don't see that China is killing their asses off. See, they're clearing the path, right? It's revenge for the opium wars. And they're clearing the path to become the next world superpower. And you really think about it, as brilliant. You can't trust these American druggies to be a superpower in the world. Look, they're all strung out on drugs. They can't be a superpower. And then what happens? China takes it over. China becomes the superpower on earth. Trust me, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Absolutely. The chickens have come home to roost. They sure have. And it's a brilliant plan. China is killing them without laying a hand on them. They don't have to lay a hand on these fools. All they got to do is flood the drugs across the border. They don't have to drop a bomb. They don't have to shoot a gun. They are killing them off with drugs. Actually brilliant when you really think about it. All right, y'all. I've been on here with y'all since 9 a.m. and I've had a lot of fun. I always do. I enjoy our time and our talks. We will do this again sometime this week. I'll do another hangout with you. And maybe we'll do another one on New Year's Day. You know, the Gentiles' New Year's Day. We'll, get up and do another hangout and just shoot the breeze. Because I don't celebrate none of that shit. It's not my holiday. It has nothing to do with me. And yes, I have a video out that asks everybody to post their Black Junction link on that video. And many of you have responded, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, family. And continue to do that. And I have already gone down the list and subscribed to everyone that I saw in there. So please go to that video and post your link to Black Junction TV. And I also want to thank Gwen C. She was the first one to make a contribution to the Black Junction fundraiser that I have up. So I want to thank her. But ladies and gentlemen, you all have a great day. And thank you for coming. And like I said, we'll do this again sometime this week. And the True Royal family is throwing probably the best New Year's Eve party you'll ever want to see. So if you all want to go, she did a phenomenal job. I listened in last year. She plays music. It's great. So make sure you hook up with her and let's try to make it one of the biggest parties on YouTube. So let's go over there and help her ring in the Gentile New Year and listen to some good music and some good conversation. All right, y'all. You enjoy the rest of your day. Shalom and peace, family.